Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from Lancaster, Virginia, the latest news and recaps in the world of professional wrestling. Welcome to the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. And now, here's your host, Andre Smith.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 20 of the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. I am your host, Andre Smith, and today is the 23rd of March, 2022. 2 more days before my birthday, in which provided I will be blessed to see another year. I know it's been a hot minute, and I think I had said this a while back. There are times in which life happens, and I feel bad that after being consistent for a while, I have fell off, or, as this one YouTuber that I admire has said before, I slipped on a banana peel. But I am here today to provide some sort of a show here. Hopefully y'all will enjoy it. All I gotta say is, everyone, take one day at a time. Just try to do the best you can, and things will fall into place. But anyway, back on to the situation at hand. Welcome to episode 20 of the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. Today, I will be discussing NXT 2.0 that occurred last night. I do not have an AEW Rampage review as it came on way too late, and I had, as I said earlier, I had a lot of stuff going on, so wasn't unable to get to it. Hopefully next time I'll be able to provide a preview for y'all. And plus, I am going to briefly go over some tidbits in wrestling history, and also that would be for people that are on YouTube. Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button and share this video, the video version of this podcast, to everyone. And to everyone else, you can listen to this on Podbean, and as well as, I believe I should be on Apple. I double check that. Like I said, it's been a while. Anyway, I'm on Podbean, but I digress. Anyway, NXT 2.0. The show opens up with a NXT North American Championship ladder match, qualifying match. Roderick Strong versus Solo Sikoa. Strong shows off his tactical skills until Sikoa nails Strong with her right hand. Strong nails Solo with chops and punches, but gets laid out with a slap and a flying headbutt. Strong gets the advantage by putting Solo towards the ropes throat first. Strong also delivers a boot to the chest, but only gets a 1 count. Strong hits an over-the-knee backbreaker for a 2 count. They call her the Messiah, the backbreaker, and with good reason. Strong hits an angle slam for a very near fall. Solo comes back with some body shots and a Samoa drop for a 2 count. Sikoa hits a top rope splash for the win, joining Santos Escobar in the upcoming ladder match with the North American champ Carmelo Hayes. Next match we have Dexter Loomis versus Tony D'Angelo. Loomis hits an impressive fallaway slam. D'Angelo takes control when he sweeps one of Loomis's legs from under him, causing Loomis to hit face first into the steel steps. As Loomis went for a leg drop, Tony was out of position, it seemed like, so somewhat of a botch there, I believe. Tony went to go get his crowbar, but Indy Hartwell, Dexter Loomis' wife, grabbed it away from him. And then her quote-unquote best friend, Persia Pirotta, took it away from Indy. They started arguing. Tony then went and snatched the crowbar away from Persia, but in the process, swung around and hit Loomis in the head. D'Angelo then hit his swinging cradle suplex for the win. Tony was in the ring talking trash about what he did to Tommaso Ciampa the previous week, but then Ciampa's music hits. And as D'Angelo is waiting in the ring for him, Ciampa comes from behind, hitting the fairy tale ending, getting a measure of revenge. Sweet revenge. Next up, some women's action as Electra Lopez goes up against Fallon Henley. Lopez dominates most of the match with her size and power. There was a fight that broke out between Fallon's friends, Briggs and Jensen, and Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. At that, Lopez, it proves to be too much for Fallon Henley. She wins with a spinning powerbomb. Draco Anthony apparently is being stalked by Joe Gacy. Will Joe Gacy get him in the fold? We shall see. Robert Roode, next up in the match against former NXT champion Braun Breaker, both former NXT champions. This match has been a slugfest for the most part, going back and forth. Breaker goes for a spear, but NXT champ Dolph Ziggler pulls Roode out of the way. To Dolph's chagrin, the refs saw Ziggler and ejects him from the match. Breaker hits a top rope Frankensteiner, but landed awkwardly. Hopefully, he didn't do too much damage. Looked like he was holding on to his right clavicle or something, and hopefully it didn't break anything. I haven't heard any reports or anything yet, so hopefully he's fine. At one point, Roode mocked Braun Breaker's uncle, Scott Steiner, by doing the flex elbow drop followed by push-ups. Big Papa Punk would be so proud. Roode dives off the top rope but gets caught by a power slam from Breaker for the win. Afterwards, as Braun was walking up the ramp, he had his back turned to the entrance, which was the wrong thing to do, as Ziggler catches Breaker with a super kick and proceeds to talk trash to him. There's another teachable moment from Chase University, or Chase U, as Bodie Haywood, the protege of Andre Chase, delivers an essay on fortitude. As the student raises his hand, Bodie proceeds to cuss him out, bleeping out most of it, of course. Andre Chase intervenes, asking Bodie where did his anger come from and also where he learned to talk like that. Bodie says that he learned from Chase, who responds to saying that that was the most beautiful thing he's ever heard, and he started cussing at the student. I'm like, good grief, what the heck of a class. Such language. And we can find that next week will be Bodie Haywood going up against Von Wagner. Next up, we have another ladder qualifying match. As A-Kid goes up against Grayson Waller. This was a good match with A-Kid showing off some agility and at one point locked Waller in a submission as Waller went for his roll-through stunner. Waller wound up getting the advantage and hitting his stunner after some back and forth to secure his spot to the North American title ladder match. Next up, we had the Cree brothers versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. GYV controlled much of this match, and as they were going for the Doomsday device, Julius Cree managed to work his way out of Zach Gibson's grasp there, causing James Drake to move out of the way. As he did this, he landed awkwardly on one of his legs, becoming prey to the Creeds as Brutus hits the low clothesline for the pinfall. Apparently, the Creeds have made a couple of enemies, as there's a video shown of a pair of individuals vandalizing Dynamite's locker room. Next up, we have Futa versus Duke Hudson. One thing I gotta say about this match, it was a pretty brutal affair, but those chops. There was one spot in that match in which Gunther caught Duke Hudson with a chop that echoed throughout the whole arena, and it sucked to be Duke Hudson. That's all I gotta say. Gunther wins with a powerbomb after an intense match. Next up, as Gunther starts talking about LA Knight comes out and challenges Gunther to a match at Stand and Deliver. And next up, we have for the last match of the night, we have the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Women's Tag Team Classic as Io Shirai and Katie Ray goes up against Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai. And this was a pretty good match, pretty good tag team match. But it turned out Io and Ray got their pinfall after Io hit her moonsault to get their victory. As the confetti pops up in They had the trophy in the ring and everything. Toxic Attraction comes in to interrupt the party, talking trash, mainly Mandy Rose talking trash. Io and Ray decide that instead of going for the tag team championships, they're going to try and make Mandy Rose's life a living hell by trying to make the NXT Women's Championship match a fatal 4-way. And they made it, I guess from what I understand, it is official. It will be Mandy Rose defending her NXT Women's Championship against Kelly Ray, Io Shirai, and Cora Jade. All right, now, I said I was going to briefly go over some wrestling history here. All right, on this day in wrestling history, we have just a couple of notable things here. 1984, Nature Boy Ric Flair defeated Harley Race to win the NWA World Title in New Zealand. This title change happened to be one of a pair of quote-unquote forgotten title changes, as for the longest time this was never counted. I think it was one of those situations, I believe, it has happened a couple times before, in which a title change happened overseas to, I guess, boost business in that town or whatever. I believe that's what the case was here. I'm not 100% certain, but I've heard of things happening like this before. Also, in 1992, Brian Christopher defeats Jimmy Valiant for the USWA Southern Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee. This would be, oh, by the way, mad credit to PW Insider to provide this information. Shout out to them. This information is brought to you by PWInsider.com. Anyway, this will be the first of 25 title runs for Brian Christopher. 1997, WrestleMania 13 takes place. And on that particular WrestleMania was the I Quit match between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history. This match ended up being a double turn, meaning Bret came in as a face and Austin came in as a heel, and they basically switched roles, with Austin starting to become the face, and afterwards, basically, his career went through the stratosphere, as everyone knows. And also on this card, The Undertaker pinned Sid to win the WWF Championship. Let's see. Also, last but certainly not least in this review of wrestling history, 2001, March 23rd, 2001, 22 years ago, 21. Wow, 21 years ago. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it's been this long. WCW got purchased from Turner Broadcasting System by none other than World Wrestling Federation Entertainment, as was known at the time. Yeah, it's kind of a sad day in a way because, well, I heard WCW was not doing exactly great business, but it was essentially the end of the Monday Night Wars. Those are the days. So we have other things to look forward to in wrestling. So anyway, that'll be it for this edition of the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. I'll try next time to bring more information to y'all, including some recent wrestling news. And that is it. And be sure to tune in next time for another edition of the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. And until then, fans, so long for now.